Today my topic is regarding the elements of costing and cost sheet.
Let us see the difference between the cost and price. The cost here it refers to a value of a product. The value here it refers to a price of a particular product. As far the price is concerned, it also says about a cost plus profit. The next one, when you talk about the concept of costing, it also says about the ascertainment of cost, how the cost takes place. And it also has its own techniques, and also it has its own principles to determine the product and services and how the value of the term costing has derived. When you talk about the last one, that is the meaning of cost accounting, it also refers to a accounting of cost. Moreover, what are the costs that takes place in a particular process are recorded here. The next heading, what you are going to see is about the elements of cost. Here the elements of cost has been classified, or it has been divided into three. The first one, that is a material, labor and expenses, and which has and moreover, when you talk about the material, labor and expenses, which has been further subdivided into, that is a direct material and indirect material. And moreover, when you talk about the labor, it also says about the indirect labor and direct labor. And moreover, when you talk about the expenses, it also says about the direct expenses and indirect expenses. Okay. When you talk about the indirect expenses, here it says about the factory overheads, administrative overheads and selling overheads and distribution overheads. The next one, what you are going to see is about the preparation of cost sheet. Here, as far as the preparation of cost sheet, the first step that has to be derived is the cost of raw material consumed. The second one, that is the prime cost, and the third one is the work cost or the factory cost or the manufacture cost. The fourth one, that is the office overheads or administrative overheads. Fifth one, that is the selling and distribution overheads. Let us see in detail about the specimen of a cost sheet. The first step, we have to find out the raw material consumed. For that, we require the opening stock of raw materials. Along with that, we have to add the purchase of raw materials, and we have to add the carriage inward or the carriage on purchase. Then next one, we have to add taxes or duties on material purchased, and we have to less the closing stock of raw materials, and the less we have to also less the raw materials returned to the suppliers, and moreover last we have to also less the realization from the material scrap. By deriving all this, we used to get an answer that is said to be known as the raw material consumed. The next step what you have to find out is the prime cost. For that, we require direct wages and direct expenses, and that is a chargeable expenses. By deriving all these things, we are going to get prime cost. As far as the factory overheads are concerned, what are the expenses that takes place in a particular factory? For example, that is indirect materials or expenses that takes place in a factory, such as workman salary, fuel and power, oil and water, factory rent, wages for foremen, then storekeepers, etc. By adding all these things, we derived a particular answer. Along with that, we have to add work in progress in the beginning, and also we have to less the work in progress at the end. We used to get an answer that is termed as work cost. What you are going to see is about the office or administrative overheads. What are the expenses that takes place in a particular office? That is termed as office expenses or office overheads. For example, such as office rent, office salary, office lighting, or the general manager's salaries, or such as director fees, office stationery, etc. By adding all these things, we are going to get a particular answer that is termed as cost of production. Along with that, we have to add the finished goods at beginning, and we also less the finished goods at the end. By deriving all these things, we get cost of goods sold. And the next one, what you are going to see, that is the last one, that is the selling and distribution overheads. That is, for example, what are the expenses that takes place in a selling of a particular products has been said here. For example, salesman salary, traveling expenses, showroom expenses, advertising, warehouse charges, all these things that comes under selling and distribution overheads. By adding all these things, we are going to get a cost of sales or total sales. Along with that, we have to add the profit we used to get sale. Thank you.